Hello, welcome to podcast 31 of the Cranky Michael Stanton.
That's right.
How are you? Why are you cranky? Share the news.
Hey, why did I just lose my face on the screen? I don't know. I don't know. It's Cranky Monday.
Oh, all right.
No, it's okay. What I did
It
is
must
I
not be a Browns or
started,
Seahawks fan.
no. What I did is I just started getting, I just started getting too many irons in the fire. So I just kind of overwhelmed myself. So I just have to take a step back and start realizing that one step at a time.
All right. Well, I thought you were going in a different direction. I will allow you to share, not share. So I don't even know if Dominic knows.
Yes,
So
that is
Compass,
crazy. The news that Compass purchased Anywhere, which is the parent company of Caldwell Banker, Sotheby's International Realty, Century 21, and Better Homes and Gardens,
and Corcoran
and Corcoran
and ERA.
and ERA. So I didn't know that. But anyway, yeah, so Compass purchased Anywhere. I don't know what that means. We'll learn about more things tomorrow when we have our weekly team meeting.
Well, it's only
But
been
I find it to
4
be
hours.
really interesting.
My gut reaction when I saw it is simple.
Yeah.
You ready?
For your gut opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm ready.
They're going after Zillow with this whole off-market campaign.
Oh,
Pray tell.
because they don't want to
Share
have
more.
their off market. They don't want to have Compass's off market on Zillow. Well, they stopped putting them on Zillow.
No, I know. So what Compass is doing is buying all the brokerages. So guess what? Compass may not need Zillow because if they own 40% of the listing, suddenly Zillow is not as big as they thought they were because over half the listings may not even get to anything because so let's go. The numbers that I'm hearing is that it's 350,000 agents worldwide.
Hmm.
Probably 200 of that is here in the United States.
Okay.
I'm curious to know what percent of the listings those companies are.
Yeah, and who knows? I mean, but Sotheby's is a huge international brokerage player in the luxury space.
I don't think it was
Caldwell,
a target that they wanted the international market. I
but
think they
but
wanted it.
Caldwell Banker is a major player in residential real estate globally in luxury and regular spaces.
Right,
But I mean, Sotheby's also does quote unquote non-luxury price points.
right.
Same with um, Corcoran. Would you say she's very New York based,
She was.
LA
She
based?
doesn't own it. She hasn't owned it for like
Yeah,
10
she
years.
sold it. ERA and but it's all national brands. They're not like little regional brands.
Right.
National
I,
brand.
I think it's an interesting play to go after Zillow. That's my thought. And, you know, I don't know. Dominic, thoughts? I don't know if you saw this morning.
No, actually, I was just getting my desk, so I have not caught up on the latest news. But that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Consolidation always kind of weirds me out when there's that big of an overarching umbrella over for a given market that controls so much money in and out. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't formed an opinion about it yet, but I think Zillow seems to be becoming a popular target. Curious to see what you guys. Open Door seems to be a hot topic as well. Recently, their stock price has been flying. People have been piling in. Always the ouster of the real estate agent. Obviously, we have our own opinions on that, but curious if that is in this mix at all in terms of how the real estate market shapes and kind of moves forward with Zillow being a player, Compass and all these other brokerages, and then kind of the automation portion of it with Open Door.
On Tuesday, I was out with a colleague friend, and he is with a different broker, which is also national and international. And it was their day to have their team meeting. And so he was on Zoom, so I got to listen. And they had a representative in the actual office for this Zoom team meeting from homes.com. And all of us realtors have a no charge profile that we can set up on homes.com. And homes.com has a completely different approach than Zillow. So homes.com, by the time I was finished listening to this presentation, it's directly going after Zillow with the realtors. Right now, if you look up one of your listings that you have on homes.com, even if you're just on your free, no charge profile, your face, your contact information will show up as the listing agent automatically in homes.com. That doesn't happen on Zillow. It goes to the paid realtor. So that's a cool thing. It's realtor centric. And then if you purchase some type of service or if you have a paid profile on homes.com, now they have the ability to help the realtor with retargeting. So if anybody clicks on that, it'll retarget them like everything else. But homes.com is going after Zillow too. So I don't know what that means, but
Well,
Zillow's in everybody's crosshairs.
Yeah.
so some context.
I hate that term crosshairs. I rescind that term crosshairs. Zillow is obviously on everybody's radar.
So homes.com, last time I looked, is 3.5 times bigger than Zillow. They are owned by CoStar.
Mhm.
They could buy Zillow up and down any day of the week if they wanted to. Homes.com is also, I think, rent.com, apartment.com, condo.com, like they have all of that.
Mhm.
They have been making a push for the last 21 months. They've done the last two Super Bowls.
Yeah,
They
huge
have,
ad
their
presence.
lead has always been, or their tag has always been your listing, your lead.
Right.
Um, I have found them very clunky to work with. I don't like working with them. I actually had my first legitimate buyer call from a lead, which came up in the phone and I was like, okay. And it seemed completely legit, not going to work out, not the right fit, but I thought that was great. I think homes.com will get there. And the other thing too is on Friday, the group that sued NAR filed a new class action lawsuit against Zillow. So Zillow definitely is being pursued at the moment, but I don't think Zillow will lose I mean, you know, my opinion sitting in Minnesota is I don't think they're going to lose, but I don't know. I think it's a whole new game out there, but I think I think this whole idea stems from that they want Zillow to go away. And I think this is why Compass is buying everyone.
Hmm.
I think what's going to happen now is I think somebody's going to buy Compass. I think, or they're going to buy a lender. There's too much going on. So we
Who do
always,
you think's going to buy Compass?
I don't know. I don't know who all has the money, but I would definitely think, one of the bigger mortgage companies could. I mean, Redfin just got bought out last year and, Mr. Cooper and all that. I think there's so for those people that are listening, they always kind of call it the tripod. You have real estate, you have title, and you have mortgage. There's
Hmm.
also a case to be made about home insurance. So you make a three into a four stool, but those are the three big. And um, I think Compass is not spending all this money to not have mortgage.
Okay. So I'll personally hear more tomorrow from
I doubt.
I,
Do you really think you will? I think
well,
it's
I
going to
think
take
what I'm going to hear tomorrow is going to be like a 30,000-foot overview. I can't imagine having our team meeting tomorrow and not having it addressed.
Oh
It's
no, it's going to get
it's
addressed, and
it's
it's
going to
going
be
to.
addressed, but it's going to be a lot of we don't know much yet.
I would be shocked if anyone in this region was in on this discussion.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I really, you know, yeah. So,
But anyway, it's yeah, it was interesting, and Compass has some really interesting technology. I've been shown it because, of course, I'm going to get a call from Compass as a recruiting call. And so I've listened and I've seen it. It's actually quite interesting. I like where I'm at.
well, guess what? Your compass.
No, I'm
I'm
not.
just kidding. You relax. I'm kidding.
Oh, geez. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Unbelievable.
since we were on last week,
Hmm.
Fed dropped. Fed had their little meeting.
Hmm.
Rome came out and said the obvious.
And didn't they drop the Fed and didn't the mortgage rates go up a titch?
Yeah,
Yep.
but I think they're down again.
I know, but that just is a perfect example. They're not connected.
No, I think the interest rates are going down because everyone's anticipating that the Fed was going to drop. So I think
Hmm.
they're correlated, not systematically, but I think emotionally and consumer confidence is, I think they're related.
Interesting. Well, I went to the Minnesota Real Estate Association conference last week called Unite.
Do tell.
And my first observation was there should have been a lot more realtors there than were there.
So why aren't there?
I don't know. I have an opinion, but I don't know if I should state it.
Free forum.
Okay, well, I think it's
Hold on,
because
let me get my lawyer. Okay, go ahead. We're ready.
my opinion is I just don't think the Minnesota Real Estate Association does a good enough job promoting it and what it all is because um, a lot of people that I even was talking to that I was there in my own office were like, "What's that?" And I mean, because there's SPAR, St. Paul Area Association of Realtors, there's MAR, Minneapolis Area Association of Realtors, and then there's the Minnesota Association, and then there's National Association of Realtors.
Yeah, but you
Um,
also have 13 other
right,
associations,
correct.
Rochester, Duluth.
There were quite a few agents in the Twin Cities from the Duluth Northern Tier. There were quite a few. I thought there would be, and there should have been, in my opinion, a lot more local realtors there. Christy Yamaguchi was one of the keynote interviews from the 1990, was it 1992 Olympics when she won the gold medal? It was more of an interview thing, but what I took from it was there was a time that she almost quit skating. And she said, I almost quit before I won the Olympics because I couldn't win a national US championship. And she was frustrated. And she she goes, one of my friends who just happened to be an Olympic skater too, Kurt Browning, he was like, we need to go for a drive. And so he and she, Kurt Browning and Christy Yamaguchi, go for a drive in the car. And he's basically saying, you're miserable. Everybody can see that you're miserable. When you're out on the ice, you look miserable. And she was basically stating that she goes, I can't even win a US championship. I always come in second. You know, how can I win a world championship and then go to the Olympics? And he goes, well, you need to say out loud that you are a world champion. He goes, you need to say it out loud. I am a world champion. And she said, I could not say that. Um, he, she finally said, I am a world champion. And then she started realizing that she was training and performing and competing for other people. She was competing for her coaches. She was wearing what they wanted her to wear. She was doing what they wanted her to do. And she was basically like, I know enough that I can do what I want to do. And when she started skating for herself from within, she went to Munich and she won the world championships. And then she went to the Olympics and she won the gold medal. So I took that as a whoa mindset moment. Um, and there was Christy Yamaguchi basically stating, I almost left and quit. And that was her choice to decide to turn it around. So, I mean, I thought that was a pretty powerful statement. So people that weren't there didn't get to hear her talk about that, but it made the room silent and I got goosebumps.
Hmm.
Was there other? Was you said it was? You felt it was underattended. I was
Very
curious. Like
much
what?
so.
What other? What do you think there's an issue delivering value like outside of that, which is kind of a cool motivational story? Like was there anything other there that helped you as a realtor?
Yeah, there was a Maxwell trained speaker and an RPR authorized trainer there that gave a lot of training, and I got a CE going to her breakout session on RPR and all the new AI stuff that's built into RPR, which
That's
I
cool.
think is a really good tool. There was a breakout session on HOAs. And I thought that was really fascinating because I do work with HOAs, whether it's a condo or whether it's a single family property. And it was a really good overview to understanding HOAs. And I got a CE for that. One of the things that they talked about was insurance and HOAs in Minnesota having insurance issues. And just insurance is a problem. And like last night, we had crazy hail in Woodbury. Like all of our plants are destroyed. I thought my windows were going to break in my house last night. And I'm like, I just got a new roof. I just got new windows. And I mean, all the trucks in a truck are driving around right now. And insurance for like hail, storm damage up in Minnesota is almost kind of like similar to the hurricanes down in Florida because we've had so much ridiculous hail. So we were learning about that. I actually went to a class that talked about how to start and run a team if you were interested in running a team. So yeah, I mean, I got 5 CEs for being there. It was 325 bucks. It was kind of expensive.
Hmm.
But they always provided lunch and they always provided breakfast, and the networking was really good. I just think it should have been more widely attended. Normally, it's down at Prior Lake in the casino, and if it would have been there, it would have seemed like a ghost town. It was at the Marriott Northwest, which used to be the Northland Inn on 694 and Boone Avenue. I'm glad I went though.
My comment would be I'm on multiple MLSs, so I see
Hmm.
it in emails a lot that it was
Hmm.
coming, that it's coming. I think that this is, I didn't feel like as it ramped up into August, it was as widely promoted.
Mm-mm.
I feel like it kind of fell off the planet. Like I feel like when it was first announced and all that,
Hmm.
I'm not a fan. This isn't directed at this, but I'm not a fan of early bird registration. I understand that you want to get people to register, blah. I mean, I get the idea of it.
I mean, to get a discount in
Yeah,
registration.
I think that's just, because it's the people that you need the last 30 days. You
Hmm.
think, here's the price, whatever, sign
Right.
up, get
I
it.
signed up literally 11 o'clock at night the night before because I was laying there and like, oh, I'm feeling kind of convicted that I'm not participating in this. I should. So I bought my ticket and I went.
So I did not attend. I know that they rotate. It's every 2 years, I believe, in the metro, and then
Yep.
usually do Duluth is the third.
Hmm.
Oh, there's been talk about having it like St. Cloud. I think they did 1 year.
Hmm.
But St. Cloud, I don't think drew as well. So I think right now it's Metro next year, Duluth
Hmm.
the year after. Then I think it's Metro, Metro. Then I don't know. I might be wrong on that, but.
I'm
Um,
still glad I went.
yeah,
Um, I did have an opportunity to network and talk with people from outstate and from other brokerages, which I think is really
Compass.
important. No, there was nobody there from Compass.
Kidding. They were too busy at the bank cashing their checks.
But I will say last year when it was up in Duluth, um, I thought that meeting was absolutely outstanding. This one, I was giving it kind of a C minus the first day with breakouts, but then the second day when I went to the other two breakouts, I was like, dang, that was really great. I'm really glad I went.
I think Duluth, it was interesting because I was on the board a few years ago when I was on the board when it was announced that Duluth was getting it.
Hmm.
And then I transitioned off. I think I went off on December 31st, and then I think it was in September, like 9 months later, was it? So I was part of that ramp up. I didn't do anything, I didn't attend any meetings, but I know, and I'm not saying that Minneapolis or St. Paul didn't, but I know Duluth took it really, really serious and started super early.
They did great.
And I think sometimes I think again, I I I've not been to enough, so this isn't a overall, but I think Duluth just really wanted to shine, having the spotlight on them, and I feel like sometimes stuff in the Twin Cities is always we'll just go to another one in 2 weeks. We'll just go to another one next month. And I think when Duluth gets stuff like that, they just really try.
But
Um,
the annual state meeting for all of the licensed realtors in the state of Minnesota from all the different brokerages and all the different MLSs, I don't know. I I don't think it's fair to criticize without giving a solution, and I don't have a solution, so I'm not going to
for what?
criticize. I am glad I went. People that didn't go kind of missed out. Um,
Right, but that's not a criticism. I wasn't criticizing. What I was saying is, here is my experience of what I saw behind the scenes.
mhm,
I have no involvement with what happened 2 weeks ago. So
yeah.
I'm not saying they didn't take it serious. I just know that the Duluth one just seemed they started really early, and I'm sure
Hmm.
Minneapolis does too. When you have something every 3 years,
Hmm.
you get that. I mean, if in fact that it's here next year, are they, you know, I'm sure they've already started.
I know, but it's still the Minnesota State Association. It's still the same organization doing it every year, whether it's in the Twin Cities or whether it's in Duluth.
That's true.
So if I had to give one feedback, if anybody from the state is listening, would be like instead of having a keynote like Christy Yamaguchi sitting on the stage and being asked questions, let her give a presentation. Just let her give a talk. Same thing with the National Association of Realtors guy that was here. It was again question, like panel. Just let the person give a presentation. Um, but there were some really good awards given, like the Realtor of the Year, people that are like people that are really involved in like fair housing and first-time home buyers and first generation home buyers and learning about these realtors that are out there in the community just doing so many great things. It was inspiring watching those people win awards. And there's a lot of people out there that are giving a lot of time, volunteer time back into real estate. And it was really, really great to see them get honored. So,
Yeah, even that list of donors that they posted,
hmm.
there, that's a lot of money that not only time, a lot, I bet you everyone on that list that I knew, and I probably only knew 10, 15% of that list. Not only are they giving, like you said, with their time, but they're also
Hmm.
getting a check as it said, oh, this level, here's what their minimum contribution is.
Yeah, like people that donate to RPAC and the real estate PAC, and I always thought that it was very politically based, but anybody that was involved in RPAC, they all wear purple. Like it's purple, purple, purple. Even when you went into like the RPAC lounge, it was just purple, purple, purple. And there are some people that give just an out like a lot of money. And
Hmm.
they do it over the course of time by, every time there's a closing, giving a portion of their compensation to RPAC. But yeah, it was so that awards luncheon, watching people get honored for what they've done, was very inspiring too.
All right, Dominic, what's trending in your neck of the woods there? Anything?
What's trending up here? Hmm, I feel like I've had a few discussions recently with some prospects and leads. People are a little bit on the fence of whether to go ahead and list now or wait till the spring. So in some cases, we are prepping for next year, doing some photos now so that their listing stands out, which I think is a good idea. And then in some cases, they might go ahead and jump on and see what they can get done this fall. So seasonality is starting to play a trend, but yeah, I think in some cases it might be holding some people back, and other places it's motivating them to get going a little bit.
I've had that conversation as well, and what I always kind of um wonder about is when somebody says, "Should I wait to spring?" I always ask them, "Well, what's spring? Oh, is spring no snow? Is spring after Easter? Is spring before Easter?" Um, I always,
After the spring after the Super Bowl,
I don't know if the Super Bowl's in play as much anymore.
you don't?
I think it's a benchmark, right? I think it's a mindset, don't get me wrong, but I think it's always I always just talk them through and say, look, I'm not saying it's not a good idea to wait till spring, but I always just say, but when are you going to list? And for us, Mike, and I don't know who Dominic was talking to, but for us, we do so much with dirt roads and dirt
Hmm.
ways and whatever,
Septics.
septics and stuff, that sometimes spring is the worst time because you're just the cars are full of mud by the time they get to the house. Their feet are muddy by the time they get from the car.
Hmm.
Sometimes spring in the metro is great because you can walk up the driveway and there's no ice and you can have your jacket unzipped. And then there's other times where up north it's like it's just a mud bath and it's horrible.
No, I hear
50-50
you.
whether the driveway's plowed or not.
Well, and the thing is, there was talk about seasonality again in the breakout sessions because in this because it's a mindset that spring is the best time for you to list because you get the highest price. There's more people out looking. It depends. If you're a seller, maybe that's true. If you're a buyer, that might be like the worst time to try to enter the market because there's so much competition. So we were talking a lot about that with, hey, you know what? In the fall, there's a heck of a lot less competition for properties. There's a heck of a lot less properties on the market than in the spring, and maybe you'll get a better price in the fall. Same thing with buyers. There's less competition. Maybe you will be successful in winning a property in X price point because there's just less people looking. So, I mean, there's benefits of listing in fall as well. And, in the winter months, it's not like real estate just stops, it slows down. But crazy fact, I had a pretty high priced property that was just kind of lingering throughout the fall into the holiday time. And it was because I thought we were a little rich in the price for the updates and everything. And we ended up getting multiple offers on this property on December 23rd and ended up going under contract. So, um, it's not always, in my opinion, the best thing to wait for spring. And these are great conversations to be had. I mean, so Dominic, we're having them too down here. Um,
Yeah, I think it's that time of year, and I think you're right. It depends on who and what their motivations are, and but I think depending on the situation, it can be advantageous for some buyers in the fall and into the winter, and for some sellers that are they've got less competition too, so their listing might stand out. And I think you
Mhm.
can do some smart things like take advantage of the weather now, get some photography done ahead of time so that your listing stands out compared to the other ones that are doing it with a foot of snow or no leaves on the trees, or I think
Yeah.
there's a marketing effect here too.
My favorite is going into listings right now that have been on the market for a hot minute and seeing that they still have snow.
I know.
It's
It's
like,
like, geez, take an updated
are
photo.
you for real? Like, hey, realtor, maybe it would be a good idea to spend an extra $350 and have them reshot because it is, July, August, September, and your listing still shows snow. I
I had
don't
a
know.
I had a family member reach out to me. There's a listing over by Lake Minnetonka. It's like over 100 acres, and there's a house, but there's like 8 photos. They're kind of
Hmm.
blurry. Obviously, they just
Hmm.
took them with their phone. Listed for like 1.2 million, and
Hmm.
there's no pictures of the interior. I'm like, this is just bananas to me.
Well, it's probably being marketed as a tear down, but
Likely, but it's still like
but
you could take some
still,
better aerial photos of the land or
I
highlight it, and
know.
it's pretty
I
brutal.
know, but I don't know. And then being a Minnesota, it's like, let's be real. We have more cold weather here than we have warm weather. So sometimes I think it's perfectly cool to show a property in the beauty of the winter too, because I mean, it's going to be in the snow for a long, 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 long time. And I think winter pictures can be absolutely stunning.
Yeah, done right, they certainly can be. And
So.
it'll tell us a lot about the house too, right? In terms of if there's snow on the roof or the windows or dampness or not. And I think there's interesting components to looking at houses in the winter compared different than the summertime.
Yeah.
All right,
That's,
well,
we just don't know. I mean, once again, we have just so many unanswered questions because in real estate, is it best to sell in the winter or spring? Well, it depends.
depends on when you need to sell.
Should I do this repair before I list or just do a price change? Well, it depends. I mean, I don't know. It just depends.
All right,
Should
well,
the should Minnesota have their meeting in Duluth or the Twin Cities? I don't know. It depends.
I nominate sandstone.
Yeah, I nominate.
Right in the middle.
I nominate Hinckley,
All right.
Grand Casino Hinckley.
Let's do it.
Really, that might be a great spot to have it.
Put it in the
Dave,
suggestion box.
David,
yes. Do
Give me
I
something.
wait? Where would I
what are your words of wisdom for our departure today?
keep it real? Keep it simple. Keep it between the lanes. Go Seahawks. Seahawks and the Browns all won this weekend. Dominic.
Okay, now why did the Vikings beat the Bengals so badly? Are they that bad? The Bengals.
They didn't have their starting quarterback,
Or or
and their line's a
was
little bit
or was
brutal.
JJ McCarthy not? I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not in the mood or in the mindset or in the skill to put any player under, the water, but it's like they beat the Bengals like 48-0 or something. What was it, Dave? I'm not a football person. You
48-10.
are.
I think 48-10 was the
Okay,
final.
but still, 48-0. It's kind so, but really, how come? Teach me.
Well, I mean, the Vikings had so many turnovers. They were able to get the ball. They scored two touchdowns off of interceptions, fumbles, whatever.
And I think those are
That's huge.
exciting plays.
That's huge. And
Mhm.
I think, I mean, I don't know. Next week.
Who do we play next week?
Yes. I don't know.
Who?
I don't know. I know
I don't
Seahawks
either.
play Cardinals on Thursday Night Football. That should be a barn burner.
I just don't think
Oof.
you like the Vikings at all. You're about the Seahawks.
I do like the Vikings a lot. I watched the game the entire time.
I never called you during football games because that's against the rules.
I'll answer during football.
Especially Super Bowl. That
Super
is
Bowl, you
like
don't have a chance.
that. I mean, don't even, I mean,
Dave's
at
day
eight,
off.
yes, at eight
Take
o'clock,
I take the
you're,
one day. I did make wings on the grill yesterday on the smoker. I haven't done that before.
Nice.
That was fun.
I had a grill steak from Von Hansen's.
Nice.
Thank you, boys. Love you.
Ciao. Bye.